Hello and welcome to 2020 Coaching Convos with me, Julie Crabb. You've joined in Case by Case, focusing on reflections with guest coaches from cases in their coaching practice. So rest assured that in our conversations, confidentiality will be paramount at all times, and it's a fundamental element of our professional coaching practice. It's part of our ethics and our values. So we'll share information about our coaching practice with clients, but none of what we say will be attributable to any individual with whom we've worked. So let's see what can be learned. This is sometimes from a single case study, sometimes from a technical practice that the coach wants to explore. Sometimes it's about a relationship that they've had with a company as a client. So this week, my guest is someone who is a leadership consultant, an executive coach and mentor. She is a trainer and a speaker and an author. She is the founder of L&M Plus Consulting. She has a myriad of qualifications and accreditations and affiliations, too many to mention right here, but which are outlined on her LinkedIn profile. So welcome, Zoryna O'Donnell.
Thank you very much, Julia. I'm honored to be invited to your podcast.
I am honoured to have you here today, Zoryna. So how are you doing today?
Very well. The sun is shining. Everything is going well, and I already had two coaching calls. So, what else could you wish for?
Absolutely. A great start to the day. And we were sharing before we came online that we've both been coaching with people who are in Australia. So yes, probably now with our time differences, about 14 hours difference, is it? Yeah, something like that. Yeah. So having read your about on LinkedIn, Zarina, I'm a bit of a loss where to start today. You've got such a huge experience of coaching and mentoring and consulting and authoring. But let's dive right in on the coaching side of your work. So tell us first, how did you arrive at the coaching work that you do?
Well, it's a good question, Julie. I actually arrived to it on my birthday.
Oh, wow.
Because, yes, I had two parents. One of them had a command and control approach to parenting, and another one, as I realize now, had a coaching approach. And always ask question, but what do you think about it? What else can you do? What could be the outcome? So I was exposed to coaching from a cradle, basically. And it's not surprising that I used those approaches throughout my career, and it's spanned over 30 years now in different countries. I found it probably the most rewarding part of whatever job I did. When you work with people, you help them to flourish professionally and personally. I don't know whether there is any other pleasure in life which could be compared to this when you see people flourish.
Wow, that's a wonderful introduction to how you arrived at it. I don't think I've ever met anybody who started coaching or being coached as a child. That's incredible. And
Yeah, well,
it is incredible. And I love what you said there about how I think you said it was your mother who had the coaching style.
no, actually,
Yeah.
it was opposite. My mom was very command and control,
Oh,
but
okay.
my dad encouraged thinking, and he used what I now know is a coaching approach.
Fantastic. And I've just been reading, and I was telling you, I've just been reading a Nancy Klein, her latest book, Beyond the Time to Think. I can never remember the long title of the new one, but it ends with, I promise I won't interrupt. And one of the questions that she says that we really ought to be asking children more is, what do you think? And to hear you say that about your own childhood was lovely to hear. Really lovely.
Yes, thank you. I was very lucky, and so was my brother. And then I passed this to my child, to my son, because I know it works. I know
Yeah.
it works from the earliest age.
Yes. May I ask you, if you reflect back on your childhood, how do you think that that approach affected the way that you grew up?
Well, it affected in a different ways. First of all, it encouraged my thinking and thinking ahead. Encouraged thinking about the consequences of my action and impact on others, not just on myself. Also, it encouraged responsibility for my own action, for my own thinking, for my own development. So, well, those are just three. There are many other ways how it was important in my life.
Fantastic, fantastic. So let's move to focus then, Zoryna, on the specific thing that you want to bring in case by case. And as we're talking, I'm interested to know about any of these things. It might be about the client and their role in the coaching process.
Mhm,
It might be about particular skills and techniques that you deploy, or
mhm,
it might be about your coaching style, your personalized style as a coach. So let's see what we can unpack.
mhm.
Could you give us a bit of context or backstory to the case that you're bringing?
Okay. Well, probably the important background to the story is related to my personal coaching style and mentoring style and leadership style. It's based in my very deep interest in human psychology, in the way how brain works, and how can we use this knowledge to help ourselves and others to be as successful as possible, even more successful than sometimes we think we can be. And as part of my coaching portfolio, I do what is known as resilience coaching, well-being coaching. So once one of my clients at the time asked whether I can work with a direct report, who was a very respected manager, but based on the observations of the referring person, it looks like this person, let's call them Adam. Adam was going through something very dramatic in his life, and his manager was worried about him. So with agreement from Adam, we engaged into coaching, and what I found very, very striking from the very first meeting we had it in person, it was a few years ago, Adam's body language and how he was talking about himself, what is happening in his life, and his head was sort of in his shoulders, and he was very tight. And at some point he said, I feel stuck, I just can't move anywhere. I feel completely stuck. And you can tell by looking at him that he is stuck indeed. So I thought that it is the right time to use a different technique, which is not necessarily a clean coaching, but some complementary techniques and methods which I was trained and qualified and experienced in using. And it's related to NLP and timeline-based techniques. So I offered him, if he's interested, let's explore, let's use this technique and explore where you are stuck, what is happening, and how to move forward. So we used this technique, and transformation was practically immediate. It was incredible to see how body language changed, how spark appeared in his eyes. And he said, you know what? I know where to go. I know what to do. I'm no longer stuck. And what was interesting that this sort of stuck feeling was induced at the time by very significant personal events in his life, which shaken his belief in himself, his sense of identity, so that he just didn't know what to do with it. And having the opportunity to explore where he's stuck, how to move forward, enabled this breakthrough. What's happened next was incredible. This gentleman, he within months, he applied for another high-level job. Within 2 months, he met a wonderful lady, and about a year later, he got married. He is very successful in his new career. But in addition to this, he started doing what he thought he will never be able to do. He started scouting for football teams, identifying talented young people and helping them to connect with different football clubs. And he loves life, he enjoys helping other people to move forward, to achieve their dreams. For me, this is probably the best case in my career as a coach, where it reinforced the idea being just a coach and using just amazing questions sometimes is not enough. and we need to approach our clients with great respect, but also with additional tools which we can share with our coachee, with our client, to help them, to empower them to reach their potential and build the lives they want to build.
Mm. Wow, what a very powerful example. That's amazing. Fantastic example of how somebody's come not just stuck in their mind and in their kind of expectations and experience, also that's physically represented in their body too, but how, as you described it, they were able to get unstuck in so many different areas of their life. So one of the things you said quite early on there, Zoryna, you said that you were able to enable people to become more successful than they think they can be.
Mhm.
It's so such a common issue in my experience. What do you think it is that stops us from believing that we can be more than we think we can?
Well, it could be quite complex. In some cases, it could be because we were taught from the very, very beginning not to be big-headed, to be practical, to be realistic. And so we created this paper tissue prison for ourselves, where we are not allowing ourselves to step over to look around what is there, what is available in life. And sometimes when I speak with clients, I use this metaphor. It's like standing in the room full of possibilities, but standing facing the corner, and all you can see is just two walls coming together, and every time you're trying to move forward, you're banging your head on one of those walls. And so people sometimes feel frustrated, or sometimes they even start believing there is no other way. And what coaching does is it helps people to turn around, so that they're facing the room, they're facing all those possibilities, and they have a choice now. When they have a choice, they feel empowered to move forward, to explore all those possibilities. So this is one thing. Another one, very often we had some experiences in our life when we tried something, it didn't work. And we can develop sort of caution where we are not taking risks, we are not dreaming big, just in case it will result in some pain in the future, pain that we experienced before. But the pain we experienced before is not necessarily a prediction of our future destiny. And again, coaching can help people to realize it, to discover other ways to think, other ways to act, and give them confidence and appetite for exploration, of all those options that may be available to them.
Mm. Wow, you have such an eloquent way of explaining. Thank you so much,
Thank you.
Zoryna. I love that metaphor of being imprisoned in your own room where there's a lot of possibility, but you're just standing facing one corner. That's amazing. That's incredible. So I had a number of questions I wrote down there. You said the technique that you used was more than just asking amazing questions. Could you share some of the secret of that technique, or the techniques that you deployed with the person we're calling Adam?
Well, yes, it's a timeline-based technique where we use sort of deep relaxation and help person to explore, go back in their mind to the time when this problem first started. And in that particular case, we discovered that this stuck feeling was in their mind associated with difficult births, their own births, where forceps had to be applied because baby stuck. It does happen, and obviously some events in later life of Adam, they triggered this sensation, like, body remembers, as we say.
Yes.
It triggered this body memory, which gave him sensation as absolutely powerlessness. When person does not know what to do, where to go, they can't move, which then manifested itself in his body language, in his word way of thinking, a lot of different things. And of course, as a part of this technique, you help person to overcome, to move into the future, because you are bringing all your current experience of, he was over 40 years at the time, of all those 40 years, all successes, and help this baby to move through, to come out and bring into the future with this baby-like curiosity about life, and desire to live to full, and also wisdom that person realize they learn from their experience. So this is very basic, but there are many different techniques, and coaches who would like to explore them, they can find it. As I say, in the era of information, ignorance is a choice. So we can always choose to learn. There are many very good certified and very respected course providers where you can learn a lot of techniques that can be useful in your coaching practice.
Wonderful. That's incredible. It really struck me when you were talking about the difference between Adam, the person we're calling Adam, was unstuck or was very stuck, and then he went on to be a football scout to enable others to become unstuck in where they were moving to. That's a wonderful transition. Zoryna, you mentioned that the techniques you use are not clean coaching. For somebody watching who doesn't know what clean coaching is, could you describe what you mean of the difference, please?
Well, I think probably when I say clean coaching, I should use those air quotes, because when I just started doing my qualification courses for coaching, I was told with some air of authority that coaching is, you're not telling your client, you're asking questions. You're only allowed to ask questions. You're not giving advice. You're not telling client what to do. But since then, I think our thinking about what coaching is and isn't changed quite significantly. And we are now talking about this coaching mentoring continuum, where we can impart some knowledge in certain circumstances with permission from our client, but we still use asking questions as our main tool. And even ICF is now talking about more holistic approach to coaching. And I particularly remember a conference I attended during the pandemic online, so it was fantastic to be able to do it. ICF conference where one of the sessions was dedicated to holistic approach to coaching, to bring in other disciplines, other tools, other techniques, because at the end of the day, it is all about our coachee, about helping them, empowering them to achieve their potential, exceed their expectations with whatever different tools are available. And I started learning different techniques, not coaching, but talking therapies and such techniques, because I found them useful in work with people. I started learning them a long time ago. And before I learned them, before I became qualified and able to use them professionally, I would refer my clients to somebody else, because it's one of the things, as a coach, you must operate only within the parameters of your competency. You can't go where you're not qualified to operate. So it created some stumbling blocks, because sometimes clients who established good trusting relationships with me didn't want to go somewhere else. And they sometimes they did go and got good results, but sometimes they didn't. And so the coaching outcomes sometimes were impacted to a degree by the fact that there were some unresolved issues in their lives. So sort of life pushed me to thinking wider about coaching skills, not just asking questions. As wonderful as those questions may be, we need to know, we need to understand more about human being, about how we think, how we behave. But at the same time, there is still a caveat. Doesn't matter how well I'm qualified or somebody else. I still always remember operating within my competency. And for this reason, I always have a database of very well qualified other professionals where I can refer people where I feel that their needs exceed of what I can offer at this point of time, and I do refer.
Mm, wow. I mean, I can hear very strongly, Zoryna, from both the case that you brought and the way that you describe how you work and the origins of your interest in that continuum we talk about between coaching and mentoring and other practice, that it's an incredibly holistic way in which you've been able to develop and integrate your working. When a client comes to you, say when Adam, in inverted commas, came to you, how did you describe to him all that you do?
Well, I think you will see it on my tagline on LinkedIn profile that I empower people to live, lead, and succeed with the brain in mind. This is how I do it. It's about deeper understanding of our humanity, our brain, how it operates, how other people perceive us with this knowledge. And I bring all those bits of knowledge and skill, different disciplines, to help Adam or another client to build their life, best possible life, and explore their ideas, explore their goals, reach their goals, and move forward. Because it's only our imagination that can limit our abilities and our progress.
Mm. And given that very holistic and integrated approach, Serena, in what circumstances would you refer to that database that you have of other professionals that you might say, this person is perhaps better suited with somebody else?
Mm. Well, there could be many different circumstances. One example could be, for example, if somebody has a quite serious mental health issues right now. I am a mental health first aider and have other qualifications which help me to recognize that somebody needs professional intervention and help in this specific area. So I do refer people in those situations. Sometimes you can also, depending on the issue that a client is experiencing and has difficulty with, they may not feel comfortable, completely comfortable to discuss it with me in detail to move through. And I can offer them referral to a professional of different age or different gender or with different background, somebody who is specializing in this specific issue. For example, I know incredible coach who is specializing in work with people who are diagnosed or suspect that they have ADHD. Again, I fully believe, completely believe, doesn't matter how well qualified I am in many things, there are people around who would be better qualified in specific aspects. And so I'm very happy to recommend my clients to trusted professionals. And those professionals also sometimes recommend and refer their clients to work with me if they feel that I can help their clients. So it works both ways. I don't think we can compete as coaches. I don't think we can. Each one of us has a unique point, unique qualities that we bring into the work with clients, and so other professionals do. And when we create this network, well-developed professional network of practitioners who are committed to working with clients and helping our clients, we can support our clients better if we work together in this sort of wider community, wider network.
Mm. Wow, that's an incredibly humble approach, Zoryna. I love the way that I think earlier you mentioned that you make sure you work within your frame of competence and that you know other practitioners who can deal with or have more experience, perhaps more skill in particular areas of work in the coaching industry, which is a fantastic community, I've got to say. Yeah, yeah. Um, is there anything else that in fact, no, I'm going to ask that in a different way. What else is it that you want to share about that particular case that you brought that you think might be interesting to watchers and listeners?
I think one important thing about this case is its impact not only on the individual as coachee or client, but also impact on the coach himself or herself, because it helps you to remember that there are so many different ways how you can help your client, and by maintaining curiosity and this commitment to do whatever you can within framework of your competency to help your client, you can achieve better results than if you just focus on your questioning technique, if you want.
Mm,
I'm
yeah.
not dismissing it. You can't be a coach without being able to ask powerful questions. But you need to have more than that. And you have to be committed, and you have to think about what else can you do? What else you can learn to help more clients with similar or other problems?
Mm. I can see as you're talking a kind of a spiral in the relationship
Yeah,
that as your client grows and changes, so the coach learns and grows too, and then that can transfer for the client into other aspects of their life, and for the coach into other aspects of their work with different clients.
yeah,
Yeah, it's very enriching, isn't it, to think
it
about
is.
it in that way? Yeah. My goodness, Zoryna, we could carry on talking, I think, about this particular case, but also about your very holistic approach. But what I want to ask you, last of all, before we close, is there anything in particular that you want to share that you're working on at the moment, or that you are, that you're particularly offering at the moment within your practice?
Well, this approach to coaching as holistic undertaking is actually something that I offer to my clients as a quantum leap to success program, which brings together coaching, mentoring, talking therapies, elements of micro teaching, micro learning, all those things. So clients can choose classic coaching, or they can go beyond just coaching. This is one thing that I use quite effectively, and interestingly, quite a lot of people choose QLS, Quantum Leap to Success, rather than just coaching or rather than just mentoring, because people understand the value of it. And another interesting project that I'm working currently and hope to complete in a year's time, I'm writing a book. Writing a book to bring my experience, bring fantastic knowledge that I gained from different very good sources. And this book will be about living, leading, and succeeding with the brain and mind. I'm not decided on the title yet, but I'm already writing it.
Fantastic. Wow, that's amazing. And I can hear the title starting to emerge as you talk about uh, what you just described. Yeah, thank you so much. Zoryna, unfortunately, we're going to have to come to a close, but thank you so much, Zoryna, of Leadership and Management Plus Consulting. And thank you to listeners and watchers. If you like what you see and hear, then please subscribe and share and tell me what you want to hear more about in 2020 Coaching Convos. with me, Julie Crabb. Till next time.